All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly, our regular programmed show here from Millington Baptist Church, coming to you live from 520 King George Road. I am in the sanctuary building, and my colleague Rachel Rickershauser is here, coming to you live from the original Millington Baptist Church building.
That's right.
Across the way. Good to see you today, Rachel.
Hello. Thanks, Dave. Yep. Good to see you.
Here we are on the first Monday in the month of June. I love June in New Jersey. I feel like it's way underrated. This weekend was just spectacular, including today. I hope you're able to get outside and go for a walk or something, because the Lord has given us a beautiful day today.
Yes, it was beautiful. Actually, I had a town-wide garage sale on Saturday, so the whole town was out and about. We did a garage sale. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So if you're watching us online, check in, say hello. We'd love to know that you are here with us today. And we are having a lot of exciting things happening at Millington Baptist Church. We're in the middle of a series going through the book of 1 Corinthians that we're calling DeToxicity. It's about the toxic nature of our world and the culture around us, and how we can bring the detox of the gospel into those situations. And so this past Sunday, we had a guest speaker. Rob Mittuck was here. His wife, Tammy, is one of our world partners who serves with Crew, and specifically with Family Life. And we appreciate them very much. And we're so thankful to have them with us this past weekend. So as we came to the passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Rob centered his talk around the Lord's table. And that's a passage we often go to when we think about the Lord's table. The Apostle Paul received the exact language about communion and delivered it to the church in Corinth. And oftentimes that's what we use to talk about the Lord's table. I appreciated what he did there, because at first glance, the passage almost seems hard to believe, and dare I say, even irrelevant to us, because evidently in the church in Corinth, they were having this shared meal, this community meal, and people were either not eating, or some people were getting left out, those who were poor, and they were going hungry. And then other people were indulging and actually drinking too much alcohol, apparently, at these gatherings. And as I read that in the 21st century in America, it's hard to imagine communion going like this. So I guess that's good that we have corrected that kind of behavior. But I like the way he built what I call the theological bridge, which is taking a timeless principle that was true back then and then bringing that principle to today. And I think the way he said it was something like, it's problematic when we bring the world into the church. And their manifestation of bringing the world into the church was factions and cliques and leaving people out, and sort of the rich marginalizing the poor, and obviously this issue with alcohol abuse. And they were bringing those toxic dysfunctions into worship. And sometimes we can bring the world into the church without even realizing it. And so I really appreciated that. I don't know, Rachel, did you get a chance to enjoy worship yesterday? I know oftentimes Sunday's a very busy morning for you, but was this a morning where you were able to gather with us?
Yes, I did. James and I both were sitting in the worship service at 9 a.m. So it was very nice to be able to do that. And yeah, I really also appreciated his message. And I think what stood out to me is kind of like what my friends and I were talking about on Mother's Day, and just like how do we worship God in our everyday moments. And so I appreciated that image of what's your everyday carry. And so what do you need to have with you? And so how can we need Jesus every day? How can we make sure that we're carrying with him with us every day, and just helping and just asking him for help throughout our days, in the small moments and in the big decisions, whatever it is. So yeah, I thought it was really helpful.
Yeah, so that's kind of a larger principle that he was saying, that the reason why worship became toxic is they were not living their entire lives with a spirit of worship, and as a result of that, they were taking the kind of behaviors that they would exhibit in a regular everyday routine, and then bringing that right to the church. And so that was a good challenge to think about how we can worship in a daily type of setting. You and I work for a church, so it's not, for me, it's not as difficult to bring Jesus into my work anymore because it's such a natural part of everything we do. Although, churches are not immune to having, issues, and we can
Still
bring the
need Jesus.
world in. We still need Jesus here too. That's true. But I remember I was working for UPS, and I was a supervisor, and one of the things that I had to do at the end of every night was what they call walk out the belt. So what that meant was there was maybe like a couple miles worth of conveyor belts in this hub, and you had to make sure there was no boxes, no packages like left somewhere on a random conveyor 30 feet in the air that nobody could see. So the supervisors would have to walk, like snake their way like a maze through. If you ever wondered how the magic of UPS happens, it's actually quite interesting. So you kind of have to walk out this belt just to make sure there's nothing. And that was my least favorite thing to do. It was at the end of the night. I wanted to go home. Usually I never found anything. It seemed so pointless. And so I had this terrible attitude about my task at the end of the evening to walk out the belt. And I'm really tall, so some parts of the ceiling were like I had to duck, and it was just uncomfortable. So I asked the Lord to help me. I'm like, God, I just have this terrible attitude. My employees are gone. I'm stuck here, and I just need your help and strength and grace to be able to do this for the glory of God. And I just gave that area over to him. And I won't say I always did this perfectly, but he did give me a new sense of joy to it, to serve him in that way. And I remember just sort of changing my mind about it, saying, I'm going to do this for God's glory. I'm going to have a good attitude. And I remember even whistling while I was walking out the belt, serving God in the workplace. And so little things like that, I think, are important for us to bring our faith into everyday life, to bring Jesus into everything. There's a famous story about a guy named Brother Lawrence who was washing the dishes, and he would find a way to, wash dishes even to the glory of God. So there really is no task. There's nothing on earth that we can't bring our faith into and find a way to serve God in that way. How about you? I know you work for Millington Baptist Church now, but was there a time in your life where you weren't in this kind of setting, where you were challenged to have Jesus as your everyday carry and bring your faith into your workplace?
Yeah, definitely. I worked previously at a nursing home or rehab facility. And so there, praise God, I did have a few like Christian colleagues. But one of my colleagues was not a believer, and she was very like divisive and like divisive. And she would even just kind of do the whole tattletaling kind of thing, and just especially against one of my colleagues. So it was really the first time ever I felt like I had to pray for an enemy, like someone who was just not not like willing to listen or change. And so it was the first time ever that I was just on my knees praying for this person that I really didn't like, and like that was hurting my friends. So that was challenging, but there was a season where every day it was hard, because we knew when you would work with her, it was just going to be a hard day. And so in each of those days, my colleagues and I had to rely on the Lord. We relied on each other. So I will say, yeah, Christian community, even at work, if you can have that, that's amazing. But if not, you need to even more so just make Jesus a part of your day. And just even that, just the verse of praying continually, like just not ceasing to pray, just kind of having a conversation with God in your mind, in your heart throughout the day when you have really hard days. And then, yeah, I'll also just add, like, as a mom, I think I relate to Brother Lawrence. And like I said, we kind of talked about this on Mother's Day, but like the one thing I started doing was like when I fold laundry, I just pray. Like, I'm not going to put a podcast on. I'm not going to put music on. I'm just going to pray. So that's like my thing that I do at home. So laundry.
That's like a prayer reminder. Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, it's time to pray.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for those practical applications of the sermon. So that's our challenge for you guys, to take that seriously this week and to bring your faith into your daily life as part of your everyday carry. So thanks, Rachel, for sharing a little of your insights about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your area of ministry at Millington? What's going on in the kids ministry these days?
Yeah, sure. I would love to share a little bit, kind of like behind the scenes, a few events that are coming up that maybe I don't need to like, invite the whole church to. But so for instance, this Sunday, Lenore and I are hosting a thank you luncheon for all of our volunteers. So we have about 70 people on our team. That includes a lot of teens as well. So we're inviting like their whole families to come and just eat lunch together. And we always get a cake and we just say thank you for serving the kids at Millington, and just thank you for all your time and effort. So if you're listening, you're one of them, thank you so much. And I hope you're able to come this Sunday after church. It'll be a good time.
Wow, 70 volunteers. It really does take an army to make kids ministry happen, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I'm always blown away that we do have so many people on our team willing to serve. So
Great. And thank you guys for volunteering and for making that happen. It's so critical to invest in this next generation, and you are making an eternal difference. So let us say thank you this coming Sunday and show appreciation to all the volunteers. What else is going on?
another thing I'm excited about is this baptism and communion class that I've been hosting with your daughter, Felicity. So shout out to Felicity. We have been we are hosting the second class coming up this Sunday. It's meant to be kind of like a parent and child discipleship class. So basically, we wanted to take the topics of baptism and communion and really just introduce those topics. Of course, the kids will have heard of it. They might even know a lot about it. But when you're sitting there with your parent and you're really getting a very like in-depth conversation about it, we really felt like it's a great age to do that. So 5th and 6th graders, when they're turning like 11 and 12, when they can start thinking about themselves getting baptized at age 12 if they want, and they can start, taking communion if their parents are okay with it. So it's just a really, the first class we did went so well, and we had so many people turn out. We had like 20 people there. The next one's going to have about 20 people too. So I actually would appreciate prayer for that, because it's so important that the kids just hear that and are discipled not only by us at church, but by their parents. So inviting their parents to come along just meant a lot to me, that so many parents came and wanted to be a part of that conversation with their kids.
That is so exciting. And thanks for taking such initiative there and a proactive posture of, hey, these subjects need to be taught. How would we know about these ordinances unless we had them explained properly? So thank you, Rachel, for grabbing the bull by the horns there. What else is happening in the kids ministry?
Well, it's June, so that means Summer Adventure is coming up in July. So that'll be something that's, I think the kids are already looking forward to. I know the team is getting excited too. We're starting to think about decorations. We're starting to think about, look at the curriculum and look at supplies. Oh, trust me, I've already bought like half of the supplies already. Supply and demand, got to make sure we get them on time. Right now we're picking out t-shirts.
That's
like
not a bad idea.
We're in it to win it right now. So it's going to be, I'm really looking forward to this theme. Not only is it just like really pretty, because it's like the national parks out in, the western part of the US, but it's also an awesome theme biblically. So we're going through Genesis of where they talk about Joseph. So it's Joseph's story. On Thursday, it's always Gospel Day. And so they relate like Joseph and how, Jesus is the better Joseph, and so how he's coming. Joseph, saved Egypt basically from the famine. And so Jesus is, of course, saving us in salvation. So I am super pumped. So thankful for just the team coming together. You can still be praying for the team. If you're out there, you want to just pray for all the volunteers to just fall into place. It's like, I see it as like a big puzzle. You have to like put people in the right spots. So just excited to see that coming together, Dave. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And we have such great teachers as the station leaders. Shout out again to Felicity, Winnie Pine. They're a great team. They do the Bible lesson. My husband James is on board for Imagination Station again. Although for some reason he keeps on thinking I put him on parking this year. No, James, you're doing Imagination Station. So anyway, it's gonna be so much fun. Ginny Ing
Maybe
does
the word that we're looking for is it's going to be monumental.
Oh, it's gonna be monumental. Yes.
Awesome. Well, hey, be in prayer for Summer Adventure, July 11th to 15th, especially for that Thursday Gospel Day. We really do want the Lord to use this as a doorway to folks' introduction to Christ. Well, thanks, Rachel. Did want to highlight one thing happening in the life of our church coming up this Saturday is the car wash. So please bring your car out to the NBC parking lot and the teens will take good care of you anytime between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. And so we look forward to their fundraising effort for their missions trip here this summer to Kentucky. So come on out and support the teens and make a donation for their missions trip. We look forward to that as well. Well, that's about all I had in store for today. Rach, thanks for being with us. Join us next week. We will continue in our DeToxicity series through 1 Corinthians as we look at chapter 12 and the whole subject of toxic spirituality and specifically some of the issues that were happening there around spiritual gifts in the church at Corinth. So we're looking forward to diving into some of these tougher topics together in the next few weeks. So join us then. And thank you guys for being with us today. Thanks, Rachel.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.